Begin with the race for the White House with just one day to go before voters head to the polls. Both Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump campaigned in swing states over the weekend. With D-Day just a blink of an eye away, Donald Trump made some unusual and concerning comments. Speaking at a rally in Pennsylvania, Donald Trump said he regrets leaving the White House in 2021, stoking fear among many. Several voters have raised concerns that Donald Trump may try to incite his supporters once again if he loses this election as well. Democrats are concerned that MAGA supporters may support a mob-style attack as seen on January 6th at the U.S. Capitol if Donald Trump does in fact lose again. In a bid to rile up his supporters even more, the Republican presidential nominee again made allegations of voter fraud without providing any evidence for these claims.
They are fighting so hard to steal this damn thing. Look at what's going on. Look at what's going on in your state. Every day, they're talking about extending hours and stuff. Who ever heard of this stuff? We should have one-day voting and paper ballots. And they want to lock you up. They want to put you in jail. The ones that should be locked up are the ones that cheat on these horrible elections that we go through in our country. And I don't know what's going to happen. But for future elections, I won't be even a part of it. But you ought to damn well go to paper ballots. You ought to go to voter ID. And you ought to have the election over by 9 o'clock. I'm hearing now they're going to take weeks. Can you imagine? They spend all this money on machines, and they're going to say, we may take an extra 12 days to determine.
Meanwhile, Kamala Harris dismissed Donald Trump's allegations and called the voter fraud claims a diversionary tactic from the fact that the Republican could, in fact, lose this election.
I would ask, in particular, people who have not yet voted, to not fall for his tactic, which I think includes suggesting to people that if they vote, their vote won't matter. Suggesting to people that somehow the integrity of our voting system is not intact so that they don't vote. And again, I think that it is a tactic. It is meant to distract from the fact that we have and support free and fair elections in our country. We did in 2020. He lost. And the systems that are in place for this election in 2024 have integrity. They are good systems, and the vote of the people will determine the outcome of this election.
However, Donald Trump continued with his rants through the weekend as he spoke about surviving assassination attempts and suggested he would prefer that some journalist get shot the next time he's targeted.
It has to do with a little bit of intelligence, and I have a piece of glass over here, and I don't have a piece of glass there. And I have this piece of glass here, but all we have really over here is the fake news, right? And to get me, somebody would have to shoot through the fake news, and I don't mind that so much, 'cause I don't mind.
Now, after these dangerous comments, the Republicans were in damage control as they tried to pass off Donald Trump's comments as a joke. Donald Trump seems to be attacking journalists and media outlets that have debunked his misinformed claims throughout this election, including fake news about Haitian immigrants eating cats and dogs, to electoral fraud in swing states and AI-generated content on social media. Donald Trump's last few days have been less about policy and more about vile and racist attacks and what can only be seen as desperate attempts to reach out to MAGA supporters to get out and vote on November 5th.
Washington is all set for a presidential battle like no other.
In less than 90 days, it's either going to be him or me sitting in the Oval Office.
Kamala Harris versus Donald Trump.
All we want is one simple thing: get out on Tuesday and vote.
A vice president versus a former president. As we head towards election night, Vantage will be live from the heart of the action. Speaking to voters in this final stretch,
I'm still very undecided.
Very close presidential race.
Tracking the campaigns as they make the last push. From exclusive ground reports to in-depth analysis, this is your one-stop destination for the presidential race. Join us on this special edition of Vantage, live from the White House in Washington, D.C.